Okay, good morning. I wanted to hop on here real quick to apologize to everyone. I keep posting videos that are upside down or sideways. I promise if you get on your PC, it's upright. Just then, it just told me to rotate it 3 times before it would let me record. I just wanted to say, those of you who, you didn't get invited to this page unless you know me, either as a friend or really well as a dietitian. Look, folks, I am not good with technical stuff. I'm not good with videos, technology, my little handouts. I'm literally just typing them on a Word document. That's not my strengths. And that's why my little group is so small that I invited to this page, because I know I'm not perfect, and I know that I've got a lot to learn with this whole Facebook group thing. So I didn't want people around who didn't show me love. You know, we're all just here to support each other. My strengths are that I really support people. I really try to get to know them, all of my patients, and I provide resources and information for them. That's what I'm good at. This whole technology stuff's gonna have to come later, okay? But I am sorry. I'm sorry you're having to stand on your head to watch my videos. Tried last night for over an hour to fix that, and I couldn't figure it out. So I wanted to hop on here and say I'm sorry, and I also wanted just to talk to you a second about a topic that a lot of women like when I go and do public speaking. They want to know what I do. They want to know how I get through the week. I'm going to tell all of you what I do, but I'll also let you know that it's okay that if you don't love to cook. It's okay if you don't love to exercise. That you just got to find something that works for you and that you can tolerate. That's what you have to do. You know, I do like to cook. I got up at 6 a.m. this morning. The first thing I thought was, what can I cook? You know, I enjoy that, you know, a cup of coffee and going in my kitchen and trying to piddle. You know, that's fun to me, and looking at cookbooks. But not everybody's going to like that. And I'm going to talk you through a typical week of mine that's very simple and easy, because just like you, I have trouble finding time to do things. You want to base everything on your protein, okay? You also want to base things around your schedule. You know what I do? This is prep time right now, Friday to Sunday. You got to find some time, probably an hour, that you can map out to kind of figure out what you're going to do for the week and get your ducks in a row. If I get home later at night, I'm not going to cook that night. I don't like to cook every night anyway. After I've worked all day, I do not want to go home, cook, and then have to clean the kitchen. So I try to minimize how much cooking I'm doing during the week, okay? So I'm going to cook extra protein on those nights that I have more time and I don't mind cooking. So, you know, base everything around the protein. I also do things in multiples of 2s or 3s. You know, I've got everything figured out to dog paddle to Wednesday, and then I get everything figured out to dog paddle to the weekend. The protein in the morning, that may be eggs. If you like them boiled, boil you about 6 of them at a time, and then you can do different things with them. I don't like boiled eggs, so I usually make like a crustless casserole, or I'll put it in the muffin pan, and you can freeze them in freezer bags in multiples of 2. That way you can pop it out, open it up, nook it 20-30 seconds, and voila, that can be your protein at any meal. Jimmy Dean ain't got nothing on us, baby. Your protein could also be your protein powder. I don't always want a smoothie in the morning, so I'll do other things with that protein powder. I might make brownies or like the no-bake dough balls. I do that a lot. You can lay them out on a sheet, freeze them, and then put them in a bag, and then, you know, they're good to go, and they'll last you a week or 2. The other protein that you could do in the morning is cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, and you could do 2 or 3 parfaits at a time, half cups of those food items, big handfuls of berries or some type of fruit, stack them in your fridge. The morning that you go to eat it, that is when you could put like a little handful of your gluten-free granola or cereal, or even some ground flax or some sort of nuts, and voila, that's breakfast. Snacks, you know, I keep certain things at work. You don't go anywhere without food. Whether I'm getting on an airplane, driving in the car, no matter where I'm going, I've got a protein with me. It might not be much, but you don't leave home without it. I tell folks that goes in the car with a pocketbook, okay? You don't get caught with no food. That's problems. You got to protect yourself. When you want to be healthy and when you want to keep your mind right, you got to prepare for battle, and you got to always have the food with you. And some people might think I'm crazy to say prepare for battle. Well, those people have never struggled with their self-image or their body weight. So, you know, if you have, you know what I mean. You got to keep your mind right. Temptations are everywhere. So the proteins I leave at work might be protein bars, like your Lara bar, those Nature Valley granola bars I was telling you about. Any of the protein bars that say gluten-free, and, you know, preferably we'd want to look for the ones that don't have artificial sweeteners. I leave almond butter. I leave different nuts. Every day, different things that I take with me are like little cheese sticks, Greek yogurts, because those can be your snacks, and you can pair up fruit with it or just eat them by themselves. Lunch, you can do leftovers. I'm not a big leftover person. Really, the only thing I like leftover is stir fry, so I might stir fry a lot of tofu and veggies or chicken and veggies, and I can even eat that cold. So that would be lunch, or if you didn't have anything cooked, you could roll up different deli meats and do like a chef salad. And you can keep the meat separate. Just go ahead and do 2 or 3 salad bowls, and then you're just tossing the protein on top of it that particular day, but it's already all packaged. So you're like an assembly line, just chunking it in your cooler bag in the morning. The cooler bag needs to stay in the kitchen, somewhere visible with your eyes so you don't forget it. Put cold packs in it, it'll be okay. It doesn't need to go in the refrigerator. Another thing I like to do is I have a real basic shredded chicken recipe that I'll put in a slow cooker. I can shred that up and I can do lots of different things with it. If I don't have that cooked, then I'll use like my organic canned chicken breast or the salmon, the tuna, and you can rinse that off, and then you can make tuna salmon burgers. You could just do like a salad with Greek yogurt, olive oil, mayo, even put some avocado in there. After you make it, go ahead and separate it into individual containers. That's your lunches, okay? Then that way it's already done. Again, we're assembly line in the morning. And then for dinner, on the nights that I am getting home earlier, I'm going to cook. A lot of times I'll do things in the slow cooker. That makes life a lot easier, and the kids like that. Most kids like meat softer, they don't like to chew a lot. So that's usually more kid-friendly when you do things in the slow cooker or at a low temp, longer cooking time in the oven. So a lot of people ask me, what about my children? So, kids like starches, they like rice, they like pasta. You keep all your proteins separate. You always keep those separate. Don't combine them, no matter what the recipe says. And if you don't want to do that completely, always take at least half a pound of the protein and keep it separated for you. What am I talking about? Let's say I'm going to make spaghetti for my children. I'm going to cook not just 1 pound of ground meat. I'm going to cook like 2 pounds. Why? I can take some of that meat and do different things with it. And then also, I don't want to put all that meat in there with the noodles. We're trying to get a handful of protein, and we're trying not to eat a lot of starch. If I combine all that together, then I'm probably going to have to do something separate for me. That gets too confusing, and I'm going to eat too many noodles, okay? So you always keep that protein separate, and that way you and the kids can at least share the same protein, and that'll make your life a lot easier. And I've told you before, the veggies are super easy if you cook them in bulk. That way they're in a container and you can just toss them. You can add bulk to your plate. They're already done. When my vegetables start to go bad, I'm just pulling them all out and just roasting them all. Don't let food go to waste. Cook it all. So that week, I might cook 2 or 3 times. I do not cook every night, but I cook enough so that I can do something else with it, and those, I usually cook something on Sunday in the slow cooker. I'm going to use that once or twice during the week. Then on the 1 or 2 nights I get home at a reasonable time, I might cook something quick and easy, usually like a turkey burger or stir fry. It's nothing complicated. I'm tired. I've worked all day. So, more elaborate dishes or things that take a little bit extra time, I'm not going to do that during the week usually because I'm tired, I'm not in the mood. I would do that on the weekend. But then voila, and when you have the food ready and it's already there, I promise all this is easier. Your brain is going to automatically do what it's used to doing. And the more stress life is and the more you have coming at you, the body is so smart that it's always going to go and it's going to prioritize what it's dealing with. In other words, the more stressful your life is, the less your brain's going to be willing to concentrate, focus, shift to all these new foods and a new way of eating. It's going to try to take all of its energy and go deal with the stress. You've got to have all this set up so that no matter what you've got thrown at you that day, the food is not a priority for your brain to have to sit there and worry about. The cravings, the temptations, your satiety level, it's not going to be like it should be if you're under a lot of stress, if you've got a feeling of overwhelmed and got a lot going on. That's why if you do it ahead of time, you don't have to worry about that, because it's already in check. So just wanted to hop on here and say I was sorry about my poor videos, and also just to kind of walk you through a typical week of mine. If you haven't done this already, go under the albums, look. I put like frozen food ideas, quick and easy ideas. Yes, they're pitiful looking. Yes, they're just typed real quickly on a Word document, but the information is there, okay? Anything that you want to know, type it on the board, and then I'll answer it, or I'll find the information out. And then also, if you have anyone that you know that would like to be on our page and to follow this, tell me and I'll invite them. All right, guys, y'all have a good weekend and make sure you do your prepping, okay? See you later.